All right, guys. Hello, it's Alex again with my new day video, my new video for today. All right, okay. So today I've been doing a lot better than yesterday. In fact, I'm going to talk a lot about forming good habits today, because that was the main focus of yesterday's lesson, and I did learn a lot yesterday. The good thing is today I was a lot more patient. You can see I only traded 3 stocks. Sure, I traded quite a few shares, but I was definitely more patient with finding good patterns. Now, I'm still not good enough because honestly, even though you can see here I'm green for today, only one of those stocks, FTNW, I actually traded well. The other two I traded quite badly. Ever was FOMO, and NIO was an experiment which went really badly for a majority of time, and then only in the last 1 or 2 minutes I got into the green, and then I was able to get out. We're gonna look at those trades more carefully. Um, but yeah, just know that I am, even though this looks good, I'm green for today. That doesn't mean that I traded well. I did trade FTNW well, and even in that one, I started off really well with a very good scalp, but then I gave back some of that profit. I think I had $53, and then on my last trade, I gave back $12. So I still, that was an okay trade, but even there, I was not super lucky. In fact, I had turned into red for the last trade, and the other 2 trades were really red for the majority of time, and at the very end they were green. So we're going to look at that in a little bit in a little bit of a second. In fact, I'm not going to show you an IO, I think, or maybe I'm going to show you the beginning trade that I did and what I was thinking at the time. But then I'm not going to go into the sales because into the just whatever happened after that, because it was really a bad experiment, which just luckily went into the right direction. That being said, the lesson let's just look at the stocks. Let's just look at what I did today. So unfortunately, this one, I have to admit, this was my first trade right out at the market opening, and the camera was not on. I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't get this on camera. So you see here, and this you're gonna have to contend with what you're seeing here right now, because I didn't get that first trade on camera. It was going sideways for pre-market. Let me zoom out a little bit, but yes, exactly. So it was going sideways since 9 o'clock, with a slight downward trend, but not too pronounced. But it had gone up 200% earlier, from 120 all the way to a pre-market high of 384. That's more than triple its initial value. And of course, it had great news. I don't know the news again, as this simulator doesn't offer the option of looking at news. But it was the fact that it was up 200% was a very good indicator. So I was looking at it right out of the bat, and it dipped down a little bit, but then it came back up, and then it started rising closer to the pre-market high. I mean, it was still a ways off, some ways off, but it had broken at least the last 10 minutes. So I got in to see where it went, and it just jumped right off the bat, and I sold half, a couple of cents, here at 378. So I got in at 355, and then I sold at 378 the first half, and then the second half at 403. So this was really good. And then it kept rising, so I got right back in at 411, and then at 420. And it went to a high of 444. And as it came back down, I started selling, as you can see here. So maybe I sold one as it was going back up, and then the other two as it was coming back down for a small profit. And that was a risky trade, that was risky. But I saw it going up quite tremendously. I mean, this was already above pre-market high. We can look at this, actually. We can look. Oh, can we look at the second? No, we cannot look at the second trade. No, this I don't have on camera. We can look at the third trade that I made. Sorry. So yeah, it was already way above pre-market high. So it was interesting, and it had crossed 4. and it didn't fall back below 4, so that it found support at 4, so that was good. That was a good sign. So I decided, okay, let me just try it again for a very, very quick scalp, and I did get out at a tiny profit. And then it started fading a little bit, and this second or third trade I have, as you can see, I got in here thinking that it's going to break through a high, and I got out a little bit above that, but then it started fading, and I lost $12 on this one. So I made like $3 here on this one, and then I lost another 15. No, sorry, 12 as it was coming back down. So yeah, that was my trading of this. That was a good trade because here this was a very good scalp. I mean, it had formed, or at least the pre-market news were good and the pre-market movement was good. So it was reasonable to try it out, and I got lucky. Right. Then I took a very risky second trade, and I got pretty lucky on that being green as well, even though only very small. And then the third one was just an attempt, and it was reasonable because it was forming, like as you can see here, it was bouncing off the moving averages. These 3 lines you see here are the 9 period, 14 period, and 20 period moving average, and it was bouncing off of that. And this was a indecision candle, which turned out to look like it might break out above again. So I got in here hoping it would continue, and it didn't. And then I just got out as quickly as I could. And that was good because then this happened, and it hasn't recovered since. So that was still a good trade, even though I lost money on this one. All right. Now let me quickly show you the other trades I did. So whre. We will see this on the video as well, but here you can see how terrible I traded this one. So here, pre-market, not really much. Oh, this was yesterday, sorry. But even today, pre-market, it was gapping up, but with not too many trades, not a lot of volume. And then here it looked like, if you look at this, it's kind of forming a wedge. So I was thinking, okay, let's watch it, and as it breaks above, let me get in. And I didn't have this window open at the time. I think I had it on my second monitor, but I wasn't looking at this one. And then when I saw it on my second monitor going up, I quickly opened it up on my primary monitor with a level 2, and I saw it going up. So I had a couple of seconds to think about, should I get in? But then when I decided to get in, I got in right here, quite close to the top, and it just started dropping right after that. So what's the lesson here? If you think about getting in on something, but then the move happens, that's the time to stay away. That's the time to stay away and wait for a 1-minute pullback, because the chance of this to keep going a lot is just extremely low. This was super high risk. If I look at the risk I took essentially, I mean, this risk, right? This is 710, and I got in at 750, 756 even. So my risk is 45 cents. That's my risk. And what's my reward? Well, I don't really know. It didn't. I don't remember where it was on the daily chart or on the 5-minute. Well, the 5-minute wouldn't have been any interesting. Let's see. Yeah, so I didn't know where it was on a daily chart. I can quickly look at that. That's whre, yes, on a daily chart. Yeah, okay. Daily chart, there's not really resistance above up until the what is this? The VWAP at roughly, what is this? 1050 maybe. So not really any obvious resistance here, apart from this huge gap, which was a huge gap down maybe, but I'm not sure if this counts as resistance. So the next resistance would be the VWAP, and then after that it would be around here, 13 or 1350. So there was not really any way to, where did I go now? Whre? Yeah. So in terms of upside potential, there was a lot. But still, my risk was extremely high, given that it had already moved this big move. I should have waited for a pullback and then gotten in had it gone higher. However, I didn't do that. I got in here, and I immediately regretted it. Now, I added over here, which was a really bad thing. I mean, this is a bad habit for you to form. Don't add in when you're in the red. Excuse me. Don't add in when you're in the red, because this is a recipe for disaster. You're just stacking up your potential loss. That's what you're doing. Um, and so this was just me, seeing it might have bounced. So adding here to lower my average, of course, to bring it down maybe around here. But it was just a bad idea. So this was a bad habit. Don't do this. Don't do this. As you can see, for the next 15 minutes, roughly, nothing happened. And I was just like, okay, let's not get out. Let's give it some time, because this is a simulator, which is also a bad habit. This is bad. I shouldn't do this. I should have gotten out, just sucking up. But it was a big loss. Look at this. This is 45 cents on 200 shares. That's a lot. I did not like that in the least. So I was basing my trade, in this case, on pure hope, which is very bad. Now it did get rewarded after some time. As you can see here, it started rising again, especially after it broke this obvious resistance level at 725. It started going slowly up, creeping upwards, and I did get out here with three steps. Sold half here, another half here, and then the rest here. And I did end up in the green, but this was just a bad trade. And NIO, we don't really need to talk about this anyway. I'm going to show you. So as you can see, this was going sideways before, gapping down, and then coming back up, just creeping along the moving average here. And I thought that here, after this red candle, I figured, that I think this might come down, but I didn't really think too much about it. Volume was a little bit lower than before, but not really too much. So I didn't really think this through. And had I thought this through, I probably would have not done this trade, because the indicator is just not that good. Obviously it keeps rising, and I should wait for a larger pullback, and then if it pulls back, comes back up again, and it doesn't reach that high, then I can short. That would be a reasonable place to short, I believe. However, here I just went into the short, and promptly after that, it just started rising again. So I'm like, well, great. So I'm just seeing this one rise and then hit some resistance level, and I decide, okay, since it's hitting some resistance, let me add in to bring my average up. And this was also not the best idea ever, because, obviously it kept rising again. And as you can see here in this chart, I kept adding, and then eventually it started falling, and then I just quickly got out within this two minute window for a profit. But this was a pretty bad trade too. So okay, without further ado, let me just go into the video recording. Where do I have it? I have it here. Oh no, this is not the, sorry, I want to add this, open this with VLC. Here we go. And yeah, you can see here, let me pause this. Yeah, I was already up 50 bucks on FTNW here in this trade. I had a very good run. And I was very happy about this, obviously, because I made, quick buck in the first 2 minutes of the market. Unfortunately, I didn't get it on camera. So the next one is at 5 minutes. Let me go there. Oh, already made that. Okay, so here I'm watching it. As you can see, my fingers on the trigger, and I got in. And I immediately got out for a small profit. And now I'm watching. And bam. I don't know if you caught this. Let me go back for a minute here. I seem to have missed a trade. So executions. Here, I just bought 200 shares as it was forming this flag, and I got out half. After a little profit, and I was still in with half as it was coming down, as it was reaching resistance, and I got out at a small loss. And then, bam, this is what happened. So this shows how important it is to cut your losses quickly, because even though I lost 12 bucks on that last sell order here, I saved so much in potential losses because just a second after that, it flushed way down. So that was a very, very, very lucky one. Now, let's look at EVER, the one that I had. And let me find the right time. Let me slow this down a little bit. So yeah, EVER, I told you, right? So I had it on another monitor, and I saw it spiking up, and then I loaded up here, and here I was thinking, should I get in? Should I get in? Should I get in? And I saw it, and yeah, I got in thinking that it's going to keep going. And then what happens? Well, it does get higher actually, and I believe I tried to sell here. Yeah, I tried to sell, but I didn't get filled. My order didn't get filled, and then I'm just stuck on this trade, and as it starts fading. And as you can see here, if you watched my level 2, let me just go back real quick. This profit loss, unrealized profit loss, doesn't really update quickly. So it shows 13 minus, and it just, here it's already way below that, but it's still showing me, it was still showing me a green area. So this is not really a good indicator. You should watch this one, the chart and the level 2 for your information on how your trade is doing. So yeah, I didn't end up selling anything. I just waited it out, as I told you, and eventually did come back up. But this was bad. This was really bad. Had my sell order filled, I would still be in the green, which would have been good. But it didn't get filled. I don't know why. But then as it started coming back down, I should have sold for a small loss. I just didn't do that because I didn't want to lose that money. But in the end, that would have been the smart thing to do, because you don't never know where this goes. All right, let's quickly move on to the last trade at 32. I'm already in. Yeah, so here, this was a short that I thought I'd try. You could see it kind of like, you see here, EVR, I was still not out of this one. Still not out. I had it on another monitor. Now I got in. Sorry, I got distracted. So I added this short just to practice. And as I told you, this was not really good. Volume was lower, so that's a good indicator. But it was still in an uptrend. So I should have waited this out. I should have waited this out to see if it falls below. At least my entry should have been below the moving average. Not necessarily this blue one right here, but like at least the 9-period moving average, because that's a good level of support. And if my entry is there, then my risk really only is slightly above support. But if I get in here, my risk essentially is, like unlimited. If we look at this one, there's no real resistance on the daily, and there's no real resistance on the 5-minute chart. So there's no resistance upward. So my risk is infinite, and my potential is actually only this 9 moving average. So that was a really bad trade. Now I did wait it out, and actually this is probably not fast enough. You can see me adding like later, I think. I don't know when. It took me quite a long time. Where's my cursor here? Let's go here. Yeah, now it's on 200 shares short, 200. And here 500. You see, I kept adding here. I kept adding as it was reaching new highs. 600, 700. You see, I just keep adding, which is terrible. It's a terrible thing to do. Really, really bad. Don't do this. Okay. Anyway, that being said, I think this sums up my video today. It's important, really important, to form good habits. And on FTNW, I had good habits. I took a very good scalp at the very beginning, which I didn't get on camera, unfortunately. And then even my last trade was based on a good analysis, I would say, and it just failed, and that's why I got out immediately, which is the best reaction you can do. And I lost a little bit, but not as much as I could have lost if I had waited. And the other two were bad trades, and even though I was green, they are not good examples of trades. Here, I think this is finally, see how it finds support. This is 8x speed, so we're here for quite a long time, and look how long it took to break through that moving average. It's just grinding through. This has a quite high float as well, I believe. I don't exactly know the float here, but it's on 25 million already, and you can just see all these orders. It's just a lot of orders, and it moves so slowly. It must be a big float. And then I had gotten out already, like here at the low. All right, this video is done. Yeah, that concludes my presentation of today. Again, more than 20 minutes, I'm sorry, but I think it was very good analysis. So let me know what you think. And good luck in your trading. I'll see you again tomorrow.